So it's already put on recording right now. So later we will share with you the thing. And now it is streaming on YouTube as well. Yeah, it's streaming on YouTube. So if you want to share the link with anyone, Radhika, can we get the link and we can post it somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. So I have given the host credentials, I guess.
Okay. No, for the YouTube, there must be a link, no? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they have given now. From Ranganath sir has given.
Yeah, morning everyone.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
YouTube live. YouTube is live, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Rangnath. Thank you so much.
Thank
You will be
Good
there
luck.
in the meeting, or you will be taking off?
I will be off and on, but I'll be available until the session starts.
Okay. Okay, fine.
I'm actually
driving
now. Driving now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're on the move. Good.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shashank is also joining in another 2 minutes. You're looking gorgeous, Radhika.
Ma'am, thank you so much.
Hi, Shashank.
Hi, Neelam. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So, do you want to quickly check your sharing thing?
Yes.
Whether it's working?
Yeah.
I have made him a co-host now.
Okay.
Okay, is it visible? You?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
visible.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, and you're audible and visible. So great.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm
Yeah.
stopping it.
Yeah. Sure. We'll start at 10:30. We still have
Yes,
about
sure.
9 minutes time.
Yes.
Radhika, I've requested some dignitaries to join. So when they join, I might just slightly interrupt you or message you, and then I can invite them to say a few words.
Sure, ma'am. Okay.
I've invited the chairman BSI, Mr. Puniti Sridhar sir, and of course Uday Gadkari sir will be coming. And then I have also this director CEO at TRC Bhopal, Madam Jayashree Deshpande. She said she might be able to join for just some time.
Okay.
So when they join, so you will have to let me know, because I'll also keep I'll be also will keep seeing, but just in case.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that.
Yeah.
So
Another 3
10:30
minutes
sharp, we can start, ma'am.
Yes. Radhika, we can start. The people will join slowly.
Yes. Very good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Series 39, on Rethinking Bamboo Through Design, Arts and Products in Living Spaces. My name is Architect Radhika Gopinath. I'm the life member of BSI, and I'm an academician, researcher, and a budding entrepreneur. BSI encourages and sponsors scientific study and research on bamboo. It constantly acquires data and disseminates it on all aspects pertaining to the development of bamboo, and it is constantly involved in organizing training to farmers in the field of management, utilization, and marketing of bamboos. And Bamboo Society of India has come into being much before INBAR, NBM, NMBA, etc., and set forth aims and objects to serve bamboo sector and society at large. Bamboo is an important agroforestry resource in the Indian socio-economic, cultural, ecological, climatic, functional context. It is a fast environment-enhancing resource with potential to offer livelihood, security, economic security, food security, and ecological in the years to come. in both rural and urban areas. Realizing above, in the year 1989, few of the socially awakened foresters saw a huge potential in bamboo as a future crop and industrial resource that could help bring socially and ecologically sustainable industrial economy, and further foresaw that unless all stakeholders like foresters, social thinkers, activists, product designers, entrepreneurs, architects, technocrats, researchers, experts, farmers, artisans, students, etc., and people from cross sections of the society come together on one platform and put coordinated efforts, the all inclusive and purpose cannot be fulfilled. My interest towards bamboo as a construction material connected me to BSI and my mentor, architect Neelam Manjunath, the founder of CGBMT, and she is the national convener, Karnataka chapter at BSI, India. I will take privilege to invite architect Neelam Manjunath to invite formally our guest speakers of the day, Ms. Karissa Brock and Mr. Shashank Gautam, who is going to provide their insights on their experience and journey, and also invite our special dignitaries present in the forum. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, a very good morning. A very good morning to everybody, and thank you, Radhika, and for the very warm and exciting welcome in the morning, and to all the bamboo lovers and everybody who is here today and who's going to listen. They're slowly joining this thing. I think Radhika has already slightly briefed about Bamboo Society of India, and I have been with the society for more than over a decade, and we have really seen that probably best of the people in the field of bamboo and researchers and scientists, they are members of Bamboo Society of India, and they are contributing to the bamboo sector in very meaningful ways. And thinking about that, I mean, to take it further forward, in last year or in 2020, I think, just before the COVID came into, tried to create havoc everywhere. We thought that it was thought, the National Governing Council thought that we should be having different working committees so that we can take it further. And so there be 5 committees were made for different purposes, like for planting and tissue culture. Then business development was one, and architecture, design, and civil engineering was the one for which I am the national convener. And similarly, different, then there were other kind of industries which were also industry development was another vertical. So working groups were made, and each working group has got a national convener and a co-convener and another 3 members, which forms the group. And they look after those particular verticals, and they help people to set up industries for plantation, through social media, through their direct, and these webinars was also instituted by them. This is the 39th, as Radhika told, in the whole line, and which has had webinars on various issues that were done. So from our working committee, for which I am the national convener, the first thing that we did was, when we tried to get into design, architecture and civil engineering, we approached Council of Architecture, Training and Research Cell, COATRC, to have an MOU to incorporate bamboo in the curriculum in architecture and design. And it was very gracious of Architect Habib Khan, who immediately agreed. And so we signed an MOU in 2021 January, and January, or I think April, I suppose. And so within that program, we looked at various how to really, and still the COVID was on, so we thought this webinars, which have become a way to disburse knowledge and also connect to various people from different fields. We started these webinars, one every month from this January 2022. And every month on the third week, third Saturday of the month, we are hosting webinar. So serially on architecture, then on civil engineering and construction, and the third one happens on uh, design in living spaces, you can say. So that comes into art and products and furniture and all other things that comes with bamboo. So this is the sixth. So we have two rounds. This second round finishing. We have art and design in here. And why and this whole theme of the series of webinars was that the bamboo sector needs some design thinking. And design thinking, when I'm talking about, is not just about product or something like that. It's also about what are the processes that should be put into place to take the sector forward. So it's more like design process and design thinking, and especially in the building and products and art and the living spaces. This was a major thing that was taken, because this is one of the major polluters, the building industry across the world. And I thought this was considered a very important aspect to look into, because when we look at think of bamboo for construction or for buildings, people immediately think like a shack, or they think about those roadside products which are not very good in quality, which they don't have durability, so they think like that. We wanted to change their thinking on one hand, but at the same time we wanted that the craftspeople and the other people and the artists and the people who communities who have been there for a very long time, they should be incorporated along with the vertically, with the designers, with the policymakers, with architects, and together we could reintroduce bamboo in the culture of the regions where bamboo grows maximum. I mean, that's the tropical, subtropical, and subtemperate zones, and wherever across the world where the bamboo grows. This was the idea with which this webinar series was actually started. And we have had very eminent people who have been presenting, and today I'm extremely happy to welcome Karissa Brock from USA. I have been following her work for, I must say, at least for 2 years or 3 years. And I'm really feel very happy today that, Karissa, I'm able to welcome you in my program. And I really feel we all are very fortunate to have you here, and a very warm welcome to you in our program. So, and we have second speaker, we have Shashank Gautam, who is an architect. And after that he did his I mean, that detailed bio will come, but he is basically an architect, but now he's a product designer, and his designs are very unique. He's the second speaker. I welcome you, Shashank, to this program. And I mean, both the speakers, I think, and everyone has been really gushing about the work that they see. They have seen whatever small samples I have been able to see, but I am very sure we will be seeing so much more from Karissa. And as a very seasoned person, in the art field, which I think I would allow her to speak about art more than I should be speaking, because art, as we see, it's a more not stimulating, but it's more like a pause and very peaceful, calming thing which rejuvenates us, and is a very important part of our lives. And so, I mean, I think I will leave it to Karissa to really take that. And Shashank, he has really tried to bring the nuances of design, and also backed with the sensibility of an architect. I think his products are really good, and we're really looking forward to both the speakers today. So over to you, Radhika, to introduce our esteemed speaker, Karissa, before she starts her presentation. Welcome once again, Karissa and Shashank, and all the participants on the webinar.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So today we are presenting webinar series 39 on rethinking bamboo through design. The special topic is all about arts and products and living spaces. supported by BSI and COA TRC. So especially talking about the art, it improves the quality of our lives and our living spaces. It adds warmth and texture to your space. Art let us think about new ideas, explore, and experience the new perspectives in life. It helps us to take a moment away from our busy lives. And also, in all forms, in the universal language it speaks, it is a great equalizer and thinking agent. And art reaches across borders and connects the world. And BSI took initiative to reach out to one such artist who is in the other part of the world. To this forum, our first speaker of the day, Ms. Karissa Brock, artist. She's an artist, and I guess, like as an artist, they play one of the most important role in our society, and they can reshape our world into a better place. And I believe she's one such artist who mesmerizes with her art pieces. So before giving to her, I just wanted to take some time to explain, to read out her bio in detail. Ms. Karissa Brock, artist, she uses bamboo, fused glass, waxed linen, and stone, and try to experiment with many other materials. MFA, Tyler School of Art. She studied she's qualified in that. Bamboo Sculpture, LLC, Portland, OR, USA. She's a fiber artist working with bamboo, a giant grass that has been used for centuries to create baskets and other everyday objects. She integrates wood, glass, paper, and thread as visual accents and structural components. Her abstract sculptures are crafted using basketry, woodworking, and fiber art techniques. Brock's early art education began under the tutelage of her mother, Emily Brock, a nationally recognized glass artist. Later, she earned a BFA in glass from Center for Creativity Studies, College of Art and Design. After college, Karissa studied basketry with individual teachers before earning an MFA in fibers at Tyler School of Art, Temple University in 2000. She has used bamboo as a primary material since first discovering it while at Tyler. In addition to her studio practice, she teaches workshops across the USA. A Japanese TV show hosted her in Japanese Spring 2017, during which they filmed her interacting with the members of the bamboo community for an episode of Who Wants to Come to Japan. It was an exceptional opportunity wherein she met and learned from people with a long tradition of working with the materials she loves. Her artwork is in private collections worldwide, as well as Arizona State University Museum, the Rivermark Hotel, Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection, the Oregon State Treasury, and the Hyatt Regency Moy. Karissa lives and works in greater Portland area in Oregon, USA, with her fiancé, teenager, tiny dog Max, and 12 chickens, surrounded by flower and vegetable gardens. You must be wondering, she is a nature person, actually. And you can go through all her works in www.karissabrock.com. We'll be happy to share her account details even after the presentation in the chat box. So I would request, if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in the chat box, so that, I'll bring them up during the, maybe after the presentation once she completes, and then I will take one by one. So now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Ms. Karissa Brock. Sorry, Karissa Brock. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. And I want to thank the Bamboo Society of India and the Council of Architecture for inviting me to speak. I'm honored. It's just really wonderful to be able to present my work halfway across the world. So I'm going to share a slide presentation and in order to tell my story. And I'm going to tell a little bit about my background and then get into the artwork. So I grew up in the desert, and during the summers, my parents would drop us off at my grandparents' house. My grandfather was a flower farmer, and we spent our days in blackberry fields and flower fields, examining the nature really close. So I really had a love of nature from a very young age. This is my mom's work. I worked in her studio as an assistant every once in a while when I was a kid, and I got some hands-on experience. The thing that my mom taught me was self-discipline in creating works and how to pay attention to details. Her work is highly crafted. This is a glass studio made out of glass. When I first started making sculpture, I was making sculpture out of natural materials that I could gather off of the ground. I would look at the innate patterns within them and see how I could build a structure out of them. So this is, these are maple seeds. They're a type of tree that grows here, and the seeds fall to the ground. They sort of whirl down, and I gathered them all and created this sort of seed pod shape out of those tree seeds. When I was in graduate school, I'd been working with plants for about, I don't know, 9-10 years at that point. And I was invited to go see a bamboo grove. And while I was interested in other plant materials, I was also looking for materials that had more structure to them. So I went to this garden with a fellow gardener, and we walked through a forest, and we came to this bamboo grove. And I was immediately awestruck by how gorgeous it was. The tall vertical culms, the horizontal branches, the interspersed nodes, and the way it sort of gently moved back and forth, it looked to me like a living, breathing tapestry, and it was so alive. I started to have images flood to my head, and I felt like the bamboo was talking to me. I immediately got the feeling that there was something really important here and that I had a lot of work to do. And so I took it back to my studio, and for 1.5 years, I experimented with it. At the time, it was 1999 at that point, and the internet as we know it did not exist. So the information I could glean from bamboo at that point came out of 2 books, one about architecture, and within it, it referenced bamboo and rattan being used together to make scaffolding in China and bamboo fishing poles. So within that 1.5 years, by tearing apart the bamboo and putting it back together in all sorts of experimental ways, I came up with about 6 different techniques that I still use today in my work. And I'm going to go through what those are. This is one of the pieces from that 1.5 years where I was exploring bamboo on my own. It's 2,000 pieces of bamboo that were split and sanded and drilled and then sewn together to create this suit of armor that one could wear while riding on a horse because it had a split skirt. And it is in a collection in the middle of the country at this point. This is a picture of Bamboo Garden in North Plains, Oregon. After I finished graduate school, I moved across the country to Oregon, where I live now, and I was introduced to someone who became a very significant person in my life, Ned Jakewith, who owned Bamboo Garden Nursery in North Plains, Oregon. And he taught me everything I know about bamboo as a living, growing plant. He gave me access to bamboo materials by inviting me to the farm and letting me collect from his burn pile first, and then later on from the bamboo groves. And when he passed away, the Bamboo Society of the Pacific Northwest created, along with some other friends, created the Ned Jaquith Foundation to preserve and promote the education of bamboo. You can find more out about that on the web, but Ned was a great influence. And so was Jiro Yanazawa, who is a Japanese trained bamboo master who lived here in Oregon when I moved here, and he taught me how to split bamboo and several other techniques that I incorporated with what I already knew. I'm really grateful to him and the experiences that he gave me. He lives back in Japan now, and I got to go visit him a couple of years ago with his wife. So I'm going to talk about my techniques, materials, and tools. I gather my bamboo from all over Oregon, and I bring it back to my studio and I wash it down to take the dirt off. And then I slowly roast it over a propane burner to remove the oil from it. And then there's a couple different directions I might go with it. I can cut it on a bandsaw down into smaller pieces. And if I'm going to do that, it will go straight into an oven to be heated to remove the oils rather than long poles over an open flame. This is a piece that's created with small pieces that were put into an oven called House of Ishi. I made this back in 2003. And so this is one of the techniques that I created when I was in graduate school that I call my stacking technique. And there's two different forms of it. There's flat stack made by splitting bamboo, and then this round stack. The other thing I'll do is I'll split bamboo with the traditional splitting knife, and then I'll remove the skin. And this technique, I split the bamboo pole into about 16 pieces. And then I'll split the skin away from the inside, which is called tangential splitting. And then I'll take the bamboo strips through two knives to make each piece the same width. And then another planer knife, which makes each strip the same thickness. Those can then be bent around a mold of some sort. Here I'm using a tin can and heating it up with a heat gun. And this is the sort of thing that I could create, or one of the techniques that I came up with, which I called spiraling. And it has all sorts of variations that I do. Another way that I'll heat bend bamboo is by using bicycle wheels and clamps to bend the bamboo canes, larger bamboo canes. And in this piece called Night Song or Night Bloom, I have heat bent the bamboo canes into a frame to house the rest of the bamboo. I sometimes dye bamboo. So this is a 5-foot long dye bath, and the bamboo can be dyed black, yellow, and red. This is one of the pieces that has been dyed red before it was split into pieces. I also work with glass, and I am my mother's child. And there's two ways I work with it. I make something called frit wafers, which is made out of crushed glass. And these are frit wafers that are turned into flowers. And these are frit wafers that are incorporated into one of my pieces of artwork. So all of this is glass and bamboo. The other thing I'll do is I'll cut up sheet glass and high fire it, and it becomes these orbs, and I'll sew those in with the bamboo. Before I am done and shipping work off, I treat it with boracare, which is a borate solution. And then, so this is some stacking, pieces that are done with stacking. This is called Arc of Light. And I was playing with the idea that when you have these cross cuts, light comes through the other side. And when there's light behind this, it really looks like a golden arc. I cross-cut O-rings. So this is where I'm using a bandsaw and creating little cookie slices of bamboo. And this is a teapot I made for a invitational show that had the theme of tea. And it's cross-cut bamboo and hand-cast paper, glass, and then I knotless netted with a stitch the whole thing together. Split bamboo spiraling. So this is that split bamboo spiraling, and this one's actually double dyed. So I dyed this red, I dyed the bamboo canes red and then split it all and then dyed all the bamboo yellow before I heat bent and sewed this together. Hidden is another spiraling. So I've taken the spiral form and I've pushed it on its side so that it becomes more like a conch shell. Coil built stitching is where I'll take tiny little pieces of bamboo and sew them all together into a long rope and then coil it as I'm stitching. And this is Venus iris. It's made to look like a creature under the sea. Stacking within a heat bent frame. So when I began stacking, I was originally using long straight pieces of bamboo, but once I realized I could split it and get a flat plane out of it, I started to glue those split pieces together on frames that I had made in order to get these frames that had a nice curve to give them that I could stack inside of. This is Springtime Dance. So sort of referencing flowers dancing. And this piece in the heat bent frame is called Speaking from Below. And in it, I was trying to talk about how the earth speaks to us. And the history of the earth is sort of under the ground. Feathering is another technique that I developed in grad school. And what I do here is I take heat bent pieces of bamboo, drill holes in it, and then insert a lot of split pieces and tie it all together. Here's another feathered piece called Queen of the Night, and it's about 2.5 by 2.5 feet across. So projects that I've done, this is from the spiraling series. It's called Helix Oculi. And there's a couple different bodies of work I have. This is sort of the beginning of what I'm now calling my cloud watching series. And in it, I'm trying to push and push and push the way in which I'm using my spiraling technique to create more and more complex forms. This is about 9 feet long, and it's got hundreds of pieces of glass incorporated into it. Spirapenna is another version of this spiraling technique, but in it I'm using those frit wafers to give it this very earthy, from the earth feel. This is made out of Phylostachys nigra bori bamboo, which is a bamboo that is starting to flower here. It's been reported. And this is also from the Cloud series. This is getting more complex, where I'm taking 6 spirals and I'm creating a bridge between each of the spirals. And this is my newest piece from the Cloud Watching series, where I've decided to sew all the spirals together and then play around with this long strand of spiral to try and figure out how to get the 2 ends to connect together, kind of like a Mobius, but different. Another type of body of work that I do is narrative work. As a child, I loved stories, especially myths and fairy tales. And so I've always got like a narrative in the back of my head when I'm working on a piece like this. I'm pulling inspiration from the landscape and from archaeological artifacts and from stories that I've heard. So this is about a journey across the sea to land. And the boat is made out of glass, and then the land has like grass coming off of it that one would have to walk through over a mountain. And this is a boat for the sun. The sun journeys across the sky, and what sort of thing does a journey in but a boat? Can someone please mute whoever has their mic on? This is Milioculus, and it's sort of a cross between a diatom, which is a microscopic skeleton from the ocean, and the all-seeing eye, and a bird. So this is split bamboo, fused glass. The center of this is glass, and it's like a convex lens that reflects the other side of the lens. Kandasar is a wall piece. It's made to be like a starfish or the sun. And this also from the Stacking series, a narrative piece about birds. I started thinking about birds when they sleep. This is a more recent piece, probably the most recent narrative piece that I've done. And it is a boat journeying. I was thinking about what a strange journey we've been on over the last 2 years and how we're all in that same boat together. There's a close-up. There's little oars here that I've made out of paper, and they all have a gold leaf line. And this is called Keeper of the Oars. This is a piece that I made about COVID and the experience of so many people crossing over to the other side, and how we all have a paddle in the water and are paddling, and at some point we have to lay our paddle down. And the keeper of the paddles is who keeps our life. This is called Serpenzunda. So it is it's one of my feather pieces, but I started to think about those feathering things as ocean waves and started exploring water within that. And then I decided to see if they could fly. So this is a project that I did about 4 years ago called Volantium Colorum, which means flying colors. I had this image in my head of colors flying. And so these are 3 of them, and they cast some pretty cool shadows. And this is the piece installed in a gallery up north from where I live in a town called Astoria. And there's 13 of these flying wings of color, this cloud of color. This is one of those pieces installed in a client's home. They just wanted one. They only had space for one, and they had this really nice white space into which it could fly. I'm going to talk about work that's placed in homes now. And this is a commission that I did for a patron who wanted a piece that looked like honey. So I did a lot of research and found out how I could make glass look like honey. And here it is installed in the home. And it's called Meladum, which is Latin for wave of honey. One of the things I love about this work is that it casts a shadow on the wall. And so I encourage people to install them a little bit away from the wall so they have that added shadow. This piece is 6 feet by 8 feet, and it is a bunch of flowers that all hang together on a wall. And what ended up happening is that people wanted one flower at a time, so that the flowers all ended up in different people's homes. And it's made out of the same shape, done over and over and over. This is a piece that was commissioned for a floating hotel, a high-end yacht. And each of these went into a suite in the floating hotel. The hotel's out of Amsterdam and will be setting sail in September. I had a commission where somebody wanted to have a piece made to celebrate their family and the children within their family and honor them. And so these are the sketches that I did for that. And this is the piece. So the center of the piece are the parents, and then the past and the future children of that family. And here's one of the brand new babies with the piece, which is behind plexiglass because they have tiny little fingers. And the piece installed in the house. This is a spiral that's installed in Riversea Hotel here in Portland, Oregon. It's about 10 feet tall, spirals, and is made out of Sasa pomata nebulosa, which is a bamboo that has like canes that are about as big around as a finger, and they heat bend wonderfully. And it has the same sort of skin as Philostachys nigrobori, speckled. This is an ocean wave piece, but I was sort of thinking about music at the same time. And this piece is 9 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. And I made it several years ago, and it was in my studio for a while. And then it found the perfect home at the Oregon State Treasury. They have a new building. And so this is what the office workers get to look at when they're working. They chose it partially because it was really lightweight. And so there wasn't a whole lot of modifications that they had to do for the architecture in order to have such a large piece in their space. This is one of my newest commissions that I did for a private home down in Sonoma Valley, California. It's a part of the country where wine is made, and pretty much the whole area burned to the ground quite a few years ago. And so now people are rebuilding their homes, and this is what was chosen by the owner. He wanted something made out of bamboo and found me. He liked my feather series, and he said, here's your budget, do whatever you want. And which is astonishing. It's so wonderful to be able to use my own voice freely in order to make something. That's what I'm used to. And so these are called ventus convalis, which means wind of the valley. This was an area that's in a valley. And it's two pieces, the main piece, and then what he called a satellite piece is over the television. Here's a close-up of the stitching. And then at night, it casts this really dramatic shadow. So here's the shadow of the main piece. And then here's the shadow of the satellite piece. And I do think each of them could have stood on their own. And this is my last little set of slides. This is a piece that I called Cloud of Shells. And the person who employed me to make it liked my helix oculi piece that I had done, but he said, can you do it 9 feet long? And I thought, can I do it 9 feet long? And so after some research, I figured out the right structure for the armature of it. He wanted the top of the piece to be solid and the bottom of the piece to be open. If you look in the background, you can see that it casts a shadow on the walls, which was a really great surprise. And this is the main structure. On the left is the piece, and then on the right is a detail of where the piece goes from solid to sort of the lacy structure, and the detail of how I made it transition from one to the other. This is it installed, and I don't have a final detail. This is where they were using a scaffolding to get it up into the space. It's really a gorgeous space. I love the architecture of that place. And one more thing that I'm going to show you is a tour of my studio. And so this was last year. I'm going to turn the sound off so you can hear me instead. This is one of the other pieces that are from my cloud series. It is 3 bamboo spirals that are sort of weaving together. You'll also see in the background here, these, which are called Wisp. And then there's some of the Volantium colorum series. So the ceiling is my storage space.
Karissa, just to interrupt you, we couldn't see the screen. It is stopped actually with the last one.
It did? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me fix that. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll restart and choose that to share. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, do over. So this is a tour of my studio, and I took this video last year when it was just chock full of a lot of different things happening all at once. On the left here, you see a spiral that I created for the Japanese garden. It hung in trees for several years. And up in the ceiling are a lot of pieces. It's where I store things. And this is another piece from the Cloud series called Da Capo, and it's 3 spirals that are sewn together. And down here on this table are a bunch of samples. I travel to teach, and then I also teach here in my studio. And these are samples from both here in Oregon and then also in Japan. When I went over to Japan, I was gifted a lot of bamboo samples there too. It was incredible, just an incredible experience. So some smoked bamboo, bamboo rhizome. And then here are surface treatments, different ways to drill and cut holes into the bamboo, different ways to tie and sew the bamboo together, heat bending samples, ways to peg the bamboo together, and then ways to use glass and bamboo and thread together to create textures. And then these are 2 samples from classes that I've taught and will also be teaching again in the future. One is called the Bamboo and Glass Vessel, and that's what this one is back here. It uses paper, bamboo, thread, and glass to create a skeletal structure on which to put pieces. I'm teaching that class in November. And then the other one is a bamboo basket that I created, and the class actually was canceled. Not enough people showed up, but here's a desk where I do some paperwork and some of my flower inventory, lamp prototypes. And then here, these are molds that I use for heat bending. The bicycle wheels are heat bending molds to bend bamboo canes. And then the wooden molds are molds that I use for bending, laminating bamboo to make frames out of. A drill press, the area where I make tea. And then this is my glass working kiln where I fire things. And to the left of that, you see all these jars. And those are jars filled with crushed glass that I can make my frit wafers with. I have a stove in my studio to be able to bake the bamboo, a bunch of molds. And then this is the area of the studio where things get really dusty. I have a drill press, a bandsaw with a bandsaw blade that has 14 teeth per inch. Makes a really fine cut. and a drill press and a belt sander. And that's what I get by with. One tool that I'm hoping to buy is these are some in progress pieces. So pieces that are sort of half done and awaiting the next stitching steps. One of the tools that I'm still on the outlook for is automated bamboo splitters or automated bamboo machines that can split the skin away from the inside while still retaining the node. That's my next big buy, probably. And then these shelves contain a lot of materials from either past pieces or scraps that I'm going to use for future pieces. They contain architectural elements or samples, and this is my bamboo storage area. It changes drastically. I run through a lot of bamboo. And then these are pieces. The one in the back, the orange one, is very old. It's from like 2001. And there's a platter over here. This is another teaching sample where my mouse is. This piece is called Featherback. It's about a dancer. And I do some jewelry just with stones and thread. This piece right there is called Across the Sky. It's another boat for the sun. My bamboo's right out the window there. I grow bamboo in my backyard. And then little cups and trays that I sell for, $5 or $10 a piece. And this is that big commission that I was working on when it was in my studio. You can sort of get a 3D view of it, walk around it a little bit. And then lastly, this is my area where I split bamboo. And this is the area where, could someone mute him, please? This is the area where I split bamboo and have the setup. So this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is about 1,000 split pieces of bamboo that were hand split and awaiting their next adventure. So that is all of the slides that I have. And do we do questions now or do we do questions after the next presenter?
We'll take the questions now only.
Okay, all right.
Before that, it was really amazing, the kind of tour you have taken us. It's like I went into a dream world and coming back now. So all your artworks is so amazing. And then I think you inspire everything in the earth, starting from the ground to the sky. And also you want to depict inside of the earth, like the core of the earth also through your art piece. So something which is very amazing, so many new things which I really appreciate is that, the kind of title you give for each art pieces, that's beautiful. Cloud of Shelter, Sea to Land. And it's so simple, but most of the time what happens is that when you walk around or when you experience something, you always have it only in your memory. But the best part, what you do is you take it and then you depict in terms of material, like, in terms of your art piece, so that everybody can enjoy and then they can connect with their memories. So that's so amazing, beautiful. And the kind of technique which you were explaining about the dyeing and the kind of machineries you have in your studio. Again, studio is something I think it's a blessing. Most of them, they don't get this opportunity to hold a studio and then work. And then I think you have taken a lot of effort in developing it and then doing amazing work. Very inspiring, very inspiring. I guess I'm right in one way or the other. I feel like most of the audience will be thinking the same way. But I appreciate if any of the audience want to share anything with Ms. Karissa, please welcome. I can't see any questions in the chat box, but you are most welcome if you can just use a chat box, the hands raise hand option, so that we can actually invite you to ask question directly to Karissa. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was.
I think they're so I think Radhika, they're so mesmerized with all the works that Karissa has shown. We have never seen such delicate and nice work with bamboo in our lives till now, and I think it's really, truly amazing. I just have one small query. Do you have some particular species of bamboo you use, or you whatever bamboo is available, you are doing your artwork with that?
So I really love using Phylostachys nigra and Phylostachys nigra borii. Those are both bamboos that have a very dark outside, and then when you split it, the inside's very white. So there's this great contrast. They're really easy to split. Like, to me, they feel like, and I don't know if you have tropical bamboos there, but these are cold hardy black bamboos. However, they're going to flower. And so you know what happens when bamboo flowers, it dies. And so I'm going to have to look for new species to work with. And then I feel like when I'm talking to students, I say there's no bamboo that's bad to make things with. It's what can this bamboo do? It's not, there's no limit really.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. This is architect Nishita from Surat, Gujarat.
Yeah.
And I just want to ask you one question: that what is the lifelong of these pieces which you have made? So how long does it stay?
How long does it take to make?
Suppose you have made a piece, okay? So I have kept it in the house. So what is the longevity of that piece? Like for 5 years, does it stay the same, or we need to maintain it, or we need to recolor it, or what techniques do we need to apply, or it just stays? What is the maintenance of those pieces?
I understand. So the longevity of the piece depends on how someone cares for it. If someone was to put something like this outside, it would be gone within, say, 5 or 10 years. It would fall apart. These pieces are meant to be indoor. They're meant to be cared for by not putting in front of a window with really harsh sunlight. They need to be protected as you would protect a piece of textile or a fine painting. There are bamboo baskets in Japan that are centuries old. So I do think that as long as these are taken well care of, they will last as long as any painting would that's in a museum.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. And another question is that what is the method which you use to remove the moisture from the bamboo?
The material that I'm using to remove, I'm not using any material to remove the moisture. When I split the bamboo, the split pieces dry out really quickly, like within a week. Okay. A bamboo cane, if I leave the branches on, then the leaves drink the water out of the bamboo and it dries a lot more quickly. But if I'm going to use a whole bamboo cane in a piece and I want to make sure that it's a stable piece, I would let it dry for a couple years and expose it to a variety of temperatures. I mean, you can have I've had bamboo sitting in my studio for a year and it goes hot, cold. And then one day it's just 1 degree hotter and crack. Okay. So, it splits apart all by itself.
It takes a lot of hard work of yours to just make a single piece of bamboo. That's remarkable. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, the next person, Muralidharan, I think he is raised.
We have Muralidharan.
Yes.
Yeah.
My question is, most of your installations must have been done in non-tropical, temperate conditions. we have a problem in the tropics that spiders spin webs. The cobwebs often get into the installations. What would you suggest is a way of avoiding this? And the second question is, I don't know whether it has been mentioned, what kind of preservative treatments do you prefer? Any traditional methods, or do you go for chemicals?
So I think I'll answer the bamboo preservation question first. There's a man named Walter Lisi, who wrote a book called The Bamboo Preservation Condendum that the American Bamboo Society sells. And there was a lot of research that went into that book. But the method that I like to use is to take the bamboo and hold it over a propane burner and rotate it. And the oil comes to the surface and I wipe down the oil. That's not practical for large things like outdoor structures and stuff, but for something that is very finely made, it works. And then the second step that I do is to use boracare, which is a borate. It's an insecticide, and I mix it 5 parts water, 1 part boracare, and I spray it on every piece before it leaves my studio. And that is a preventative care. There are 2 traditional Japanese preservation techniques that I don't do because I don't know enough about, but I know they're highly effective. And one of them is to use kakishibu, which is a fermented persimmon juice that can be painted on bamboo. It's also used as a fabric dye and as a shellac to create water resistance on paper. And so I've used that on some of my bamboo pieces, but the older the bamboo gets, the more of a reddish color it turns. And I don't want my work to turn red when it leaves my studio. I want it to stay the color that it is. And then another technique is to use lacquer, the type of lacquer that they use, which is made out of a tree sap, like a sumac tree sap. And that tree sap actually acts like poison ivy on your skin, which is like this poison that causes a lot of itching. And so I am not willing to explore that because I don't want to end up itching all over, but it's supposed to be a really great preservative. And as for the spiders, I can't tell you because we don't have that here, but I will say that nature happens and it's really hard to stop what nature really wants to have naturally happen.
Oh, thank you. But I think some of your very fine sculptures would soon be engulfed in cobwebs if it were in India or any of the humid tropics. I was wondering if you had a method to prevent that. It's a difficult thing, I admit. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. One thing that I do with some of my smaller works is I have a board that I mount them on, and then I create a plexiglass or plastic cover that goes over the top of them. So they're sealed inside of plastic, basically, a plastic display case. So that's the only thing I could think of that would stop something like that. But then perhaps you would have spider webs on your plastic frame.
Yeah,
I think when we have an art piece, we generally try to take care. So I think yes, as you said, maybe instead of plexiglass or something, there can be glass also. It can be framed in a glass, and I think it will remain as such. So that can be a way to probably protect. Yeah, it's more like you're protecting your paintings and precious artwork. So this is also an artwork. So I think one could, we would like to take care of that in that way. Yeah. There's one thing which why I'm just telling this is when we generally have some other material with which art pieces are probably made, people do try to take care of them more. But the moment it comes to bamboo, I have a feeling, I've been working for more than 2 decades, artworks, buildings, or whatever, they think that, bamboo should take care of itself, which is something I would request everyone to respect the bamboo as much as they would respect all other materials and things made out of it. Yeah, that's my take actually. Yeah, thank you. Any other question?
Mama, the best part about your art pieces is that the combination of different material, the glass, the crystals, and the beads also you use. I think that is also made of glass only, the bead work, the combination with other materials. So quite interesting. And
Thank you.
so how did art influence your life? If you want to share anything about that, you've been working more than 2 decades, I guess. So how was it? Like, how did it influence your life?
Could you rephrase the question?
No, you've been like working more than 2 decades, right? Creating different art pieces, and you enjoy it also. So in your life, how it influenced you in the other way, like other than the professional work or whatever work you do? So in your family life or, other way, how it influenced the kind of work you do?
Yeah, so I really feel like I have a very rich life here. I have a son who plays piano, and I have a garden that we grow tomatoes, beans, broccoli. We grow all sorts of food in our garden, and we grow flowers. It's a very rich life. I'm not just detail oriented in the studio creating artwork. I'm also detail oriented, outgrowing things. When I'm not in the studio and I need a moment to relax, I love going out and looking at plants close up, looking at the details within the plants and letting those inspire me. I'm especially interested in flowers. I think they're amazing. They're these beautiful small sculptures that are created to attract insects and also for us to look at. I also have chickens. We have 12 chickens, and they provide a lot of amusement. And then there's so many different beautiful gardens here in the Pacific Northwest. We have the Japanese garden, and it is one of the best authentic Japanese gardens in the United States. And it incorporates bamboo into the gardens and into in terms of garden gates. And then there's the bamboo farm, bamboo nursery, bamboo garden nursery. That's it's about 10 miles away from me. It's about a half-hour drive, and it's 20 acres with 300 varieties. And it's where I go also to get inspiration. Going into a bamboo grove gives me ideas.
Brilliant. That could showcase that each and every work you do, you take inspiration from that, and then you love to do whatever you do, right? So that's amazing. And I could see that you are taking the legacy of your mother also. So though you have your own style of working, but you keep adding the experience or the thing which you learn from your mother. So that's also an amazing thing. So I don't think not everybody will do that. So all the very best for your future, whatever works you're going to take up. And I'm sure that you will be getting more and more works, the kind of artwork you do. So, so with this, I think.
I was just
Yes,
I'll just add one word, and yeah, because I think maybe Karissa maybe is very late for her, so
Yeah.
she may not stay for the whole webinar. So Karissa, I'm really so thankful, and I'm telling you, I really feel I don't know when I can come and see your work or even learn from you. When I look at these kind of things, and especially with bamboo, I'm like a child, ready to absorb everything. So maybe I don't know how it may be organized, if as and when we could have you over in India and to conduct a workshop. I'm just hoping that we will be able to do that. So
Oh, wonderful. Well, yeah, let me know when you're flying into Portland too. Great to have you here.
Yeah,
So,
Thank
sure,
you.
sure. Yeah,
Lisa, we
it'll be a
have
travel.
audience from
Yeah, thank you
different
so much.
backgrounds. So any message you want to share with them? The person who's really wanted to start up with this kind of artwork. So what kind of ideas or tips you want to give it to them?
So I think that the best thing to do is to get your hands on a bunch of tools and some bamboo and just try and take it apart and really examine what happens when I do this with the bamboo. What happens when I cut the bamboo with this tool? What happens when I burn the bamboo? What happens when I drill into it? And then after that's what I did. I approached it with a what happens if I do this attitude, which is sort of a scientific approach that you can take to it. So I would suggest to start there and look around you at what plants do naturally and try to emanate what they do naturally.
Yeah, rightly said.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Listen to your heart.
So, yes.
Listen to your heart through your hand.
Oh, that's a
Try to
beautiful way.
understand the material and then you can explore whatever you want. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
So thank you,
Great
Ms.
to have
Karissa,
you.
for the wonderful presentation. Yes, we are very grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experience with us. It was an amazing feeling after your presentation. As I told you, it's like we enter into a dream world and came back. So, but we'll keep all your yes, interesting things in our memory, and then we'll try to explore more on it. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Karissa. Bye.
So audience, please stay tuned with us. We have one more interesting guest speaker over here. And so I'm going to talk about something like about the creativity, as you're seeing, like we just saw a lot of art pieces. So creativity actually makes life infinitely interesting and fulfilling. It's about living life as a journey into seeing and communicating the extraordinaries of the simplest, most everyday acts. That's what even Ms. Karissa was explaining, how she inspired each and everything. So we are going to meet an architect come industrial designer who expresses creativity in everyday life through his beautiful products. So he creates immediate surroundings as a beautiful or eccentric by experimenting with a sense of color, texture, and line, which creates an element of surprise to any space. So now I'm going to introduce our second speaker of the day, Mr. Shashank Gautam. He is the founder and design director of Mianzi. With a drive to build sustainable products that can revive our heritage and vanishing craftsmanship, Shashank Gautam, with a bachelor's in architecture from SPA Delhi and master's in industrial designing from IDC IIT Bombay, established Mianzi. Okay. So it actually revolutionized the way bamboo is seen and used by bringing carefully crafted bamboo built options in furniture, lifestyle products, bicycle, and architecture that make your home look woke and don't detriment the health of the planet. So that's very important. Shashank believes that sustainability being associated with going without is always be titled. So he came up with products that attain both competitive edge for similar wood plastic-based products, whilst reaping benefits for the environment. The hands-on experience he gained at his grandfather's cycle rickshaw rent and repair shop inspired him to work out simple but efficient solutions that are very unique. After working in a few industrial design companies as a lead designer, where they used to design with industrialized material like plastic, metal, etc., used mostly in home appliances and lighting products, he decided to create something useful, unique, but essentially earth-friendly. Inspired and humbled by the artisans he met while researching bamboo, he felt the need to support the artisans and the age-old manufacturing practices. With its roots set in Indian traditions and history, bamboo is a raw material which can be handcrafted and has a strong potential to the broad, which need to be forward on industrial scale as well. Additionally, it is a sustainable yet robust and flexible material, and it has been in Philippines design philosophy in many ways, and it is often reflected as a polygamy between sustainability, contemporary aesthetics, and cultural heritage. So it's wonderful to see both the speakers, they have those roots, with their either family members or their own parents. So over to you, Mr. Shashank Gautam. We are really waiting to see your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Radhika, for such an awesome introduction of mine. And I'm being honored here to present in front of you all. So let's start with the presentation. Yes, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So I'm an architect and also an industrial designer. So when I was doing my architecture in 2009, when I was in third year, so there was a design competition that was organized by IGBC, Indian Green Building Council. And that competition, that was turned into a class submission by the faculties at SPA. So we had to participate in this competition. So and the brief of the competition was to design zero carbon footprint tree house. So we thought that why can't we make something out of bamboo? So what we did was we took a living bamboo cluster and I compressed the members which are at the periphery, and the members which are in the center, they are in tension. So thus by getting a space in between, in this image you can see there's a space where you can stay. So in Northeast, you'll get a bamboo cluster of a height of 40 or 45 feet. So yeah, so you can change the space to make it a habitable, and maybe people can stay. And fortunately, we won that award in 2009, and Rosaiya sir was the chief minister that time at Andhra Pradesh. So I was honored to receive an award from him in 2009. So after studying architecture, I worked as an architect, and I was also really very passionate about bicycle as well. So I thought of making a bicycle which will be used to commute from the place I stay to my office. So I just went to a junkyard and took out some scrap bicycle frames, and I replaced few of the members with bamboo. And I really loved the geared bicycle, so I made it. I turned it into a geared one. So this was the bicycle I made in 2013, I believe. And then later I found my interest, onto making products and objects. So I went to IDC IIT Bombay. Then again, I took the bicycle project, which can be, mass manufactured as a P2 project there. And I made this bicycle. So I realized that, to mass manufacture anything which is related to natural material, you have to standardize it. So yeah, so the sections that we're seeing is 32 circular section of bamboo. So I had to standardize by maintaining the circumference of it, or the diameter of it, to the material which is available in the market. So you can see the joineries here made out of metal, which is also 32 dia, inside which the bamboo is inserted. So yeah, so again, then I was not really very satisfied with the kind of industrialization that this bicycle design can do. So I was still working on bicycle. I'll show it to you later what all works I have done in my further presentation. And also this chair, the name of this chair is the butterfly chair, and I started working upon it during my internship period when I was doing my internship at Urvu in Wayanad, Kerala. So they had few problems with their furniture, with their existing furniture that's there in their resort. So I started with the chair, and I took started from a scratch for designing the chair, and this was the result of that internship. It took me like 3 whole months to come up with the prototype of this chair. So this is how these are the legs, and I used flame bending, as you already know how to bend these, rectangular sections of bamboo. Then I used few utensils to make the backrest of it. So everything was done with some kind of jugaad. And so again, that chair I have reworked upon. You'll see later on the presentation. So all these the works that you have seen till now, they were academics. They were into academics, or uske baad after getting placed after my post graduation, I worked as an industrial designer in few of the renowned firms. So this was the set design done by me for Gaurav Gupta fashion show for FDCI. So where I experimented with a lot of materials. You can see I have used glass over here, and there are fabrics. So these fabrics are of reinforced plastic. So the lines what you are seeing in the fabric is there's a plastic wire insertion in between. So yeah, these are the few pictures of the set design I did for the fashion show. Yeah, and also I worked, for a few industrial design companies as well, where I made several number of, home appliances. So there's the air purifier which I have designed, and the split ACs, multiple split ACs which are there on market currently. Then there's the electric kettle. So I've gained a good amount of experience in the industrial manufacturing, for the materials like plastic, wood, glass, and all. So I thought that why isn't bamboo is so popular? Why aren't we taking this as a material, to explore? And why can't we make something out of it which is equally comparable with the products that are available in market, which is made up of, let's say, plastic, wood, or metal, or something? So that was a question which was running behind my mind every time. And since I was, I did a lot of work in bamboo previously in my academics, I had a feeling and kind of love with this material. So to answer that question, I started Mianzi in 2019, and just to come up with the products made out of bamboo. I realized that there are few parameters which I need to address in a very significant way. So these are the parameters which we have intensively worked upon. So the first one is design, manufacturing, marketing, and logistics. So to come up with designs made out of bamboo, मतलब इंडिया में already bamboo का एक बहुत ही मतलब खराब notion है इंडिया में, मतलब जैसे कि let's say if we are imagining products out of bamboo, तो हमें ऐसी प्रोडक्ट्स सोचने को मिलते हैं which जो रोड साइड के आसपास मिलते थे, which do not have any kind of design quality, or which is not at all comparable with the current products that are available in market. So the design has to be really very different. I realized कि मतलब ये situation को पूरा पलटना होगा. So design has to play a really very good role if we are making products out of bamboo. So we have to make pieces which goes to the current scenario, to the current space, to the current contemporary colors and the texture that's available in a typical interior. तो उसके साथ मर्ज होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि मतलब बिल्कुल ही एलियन प्रोडक्ट आ गया है हमारे स्पेस में. So that we realized, and also the colors and all की कलर्स भी मैच होने चाहिए, या कलर्स इस इंटीरियर के साथ जाना चाहिए, स्पेस किस तरह मतलब the objects which has kept onto the surroundings of the space, वो सारा कुछ एक दूसरे से बातें करनी चाहिए. तो मतलब ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं लगना चाहिए कि कोई एक अलग सी चीज हमारे स्पेसेस में आके आ गई है. And again it has to be utilitarian aesthetics के साथ साथ. So yes, it has to be, the product has to be trendy. If I'm coming up with products which is made out of bamboo, और जो मतलब काफी traditionally जो पहले से काफी लोग use कर रहे थे. Yeah, so this is about the scale, the the sofa sets and all that you are seeing there, मतलब at least ये 10 feet के size के होंगे. And in that scale, we have prototyped a bamboo pendant lamp, which the diameter of this lamp is about like 8 to 9 feet, जो ऊपर से hang होता है. Yeah, and the other main important thing what I realized is कि design बहुत ही unconventional होना चाहिए. So the butterfly chair, what you have seen previously, तो उस पे काफी सारे इम्प्रूवमेंट्स मैंने किए, एंड इसमें आपको दिख रहा होगा कितने सारे इम्प्रूवमेंट. एंड दिस कैन बी फ्लैट पैक in a really very small box, to make easily available for global countries. So this is a Super Ball bot, which is being currently experimented by NASA, to deploy mobility to other planets. So the same concept has been, and even the same concept has been used in this suspension bridge as well. So working on these tensegrity structured, I've also designed this electric bicycle. So again, by my urge of making mass manufactured a bamboo bicycle, वो कम हुआ नहीं, and I experimented a lot in this, and currently we have come up with this prototype, and I guess this is the first electric bicycle, bamboo bicycle in the world, and I'm currently using it. So currently we are figuring out the production of it, और इसमें और कोई ऐसा ज़्यादा मतलब कुछ ऐसे problems मुझे अभी तक तो face करने को नहीं मिला है. I've been using this bicycle for since like 2 years or something. Yes, so it has to be, the product has to be, you know, unconventional in all aspects. The next version of this bicycle would be the battery will go inside, you know, will house inside the pole, the cap. We usually have a, you know, hole inside bamboo, तो वहाँ पे battery और circuits को रखने का ही जगह मिलेगी. The circuits and all what you're seeing here is already being housed in this prototype what we have made. But the next version, my battery will also go inside. Yeah, and also we are doing few projects in architecture as well. So this project is happening in Makai Badi, if you have heard of, in Kurseong, North Bengal. So we are coming up with this design. So this is a pre-experience center right at the middle of a tea estate in Kurseong. So what I felt was, while doing architecture, it has to be, you know, the aesthetic should be ऐसे मतलब conventional architecture जैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. What I felt थोड़ा futuristic दिखना चाहिए. So that's how we came up with these designs. So there's another concept which is happening again in Kurseong. Yeah, and what we usually do is we integrate a lot of, you know, different materials with bamboo. So in this particular picture, you are seeing cork is being used as a base of these tray. ठीक है, तो ऐसा मुझे कभी ऐसा फील नहीं होता कि कोई अलग मटेरियल को अगर हम लोग इंटीग्रेट करें तो मतलब कुछ हार्म है, मतलब because all materials have their certain properties, and I think we should respect them according to the properties what they carry. तो उस तरह से मतलब उन properties को carry करते हुए we integrate materials with bamboo. पर bamboo को हम primary material generally देखते हैं. So in this one, you can see how we have used this metal brass. Okay, and also there's a glass ball at the bottom. So this particular piece is called the firefly lamp. And this is the modular wardrobe system that we have designed. And so इसमें खास बात ये है कि you can change the orientation of these cubicles, and maybe you can add cells into it, or maybe you can remove it. It changes according to the space that you have. So this all wardrobe can be totally changed into जिसमें कपड़े रखते हैं, और let's say a bookshelf if you want to keep, or let's say a wardrobe that you can use in kitchen for keeping utensils, and or a bar or keep objects for the bar as well. Yeah, so इसमें material integration, what we have done is we have used MS sections to house these modules into it. And again, these MS sections can be dismantled and can be flat packed in a really very small box. So this is one of the projects we did for Godrej Properties in Pune. Yeah, this is a customized version of the Hive modular system. Yeah, we do a lot of engineering as well to each of our design. So the current picture that you are seeing is the Lotus tool. This weighs like around 2.5 kgs and can take up to 250 kgs of load. And yeah, as I've already said, it's very lightweight. Very lighter, and the sections that we are seeing here, the bamboo sections we are seeing here is of 8 mm. Just 8 mm sections we are using to make this kind of piece. And we try to avoid a lot of joinery details. हम लोग try करते हैं कि nut and bolt से ही join हो जाए, और एक single part of a piece मतलब एक खुद के अंदर एक part रहता है, वो join बहुत कम joineries हम लोग use करते हैं किसी भी parts में ये करने के लिए. We usually try to nut and bolt everything. Yeah. So yes, manufacturing also plays a very significant role because अभी जो इस time पे industrial phase चल रहा है, and there are a lot of products that is available in market जो बहुत ही अच्छे quality के आपको products मिल रहे होंगे in plastic or wood. So we have to cope up with this material as well. मतलब इस material में I don't think that there's some kind of technology that has been developed since ages. So we have to come up with new technologies and all. So all our design conceived is. I'll just play a video here if it runs. Yeah. So first, that's how we conceive an idea, and we try to make as modular as possible, to flat pack everything, and also also make it really very easy to assemble. Just how will I get out from this? Yeah. So that's how we conceive any product. फिर उसके बाद we used to CAD model it, and then we used to do engineering of it. Also we know we test it कि कितना weight झेल पा रहा है, and also we make a smaller prototype version of a particular product just to check कि सारे strength वगैरह tangential forces या vertical forces वगैरह सब कुछ ढंग से act कर रहे हैं या नहीं. So that kind of engineering goes into each of our product, and the quality what we maintain is comparable to the products that are currently available in the industrial market. So there's the bottom of the butterfly chair. And मतलब tolerances हम 0.5 mm तक का tolerance रखते हैं अपने सारे products में. हम लोग quantity पे ज़्यादा believe रखते हैं, quality पे ज़्यादा believe रखते हैं quantity से compare अगर करें तो शुरू में हम quality ज़्यादा रखते हैं, and then we do a lot of research into manufacturing, and then eventually we come up with with machines or let's say mold जो फिर धीरे-धीरे quantity में focus करेगा. So first we focus on quality, then quantity. And of course, we treat it with with borax and borax salt, and sometimes with CCP as well, if we are using the furnitures outdoor. And these are a few of our products that are available in our website. Colors हम obviously use कर रहे हैं, and the colors that we are choosing are मतलब according to the current trend. जो आर्किटेक्चर में करंटली चल रहा होगा या फैशन में करंटली चल रहा होगा, तो दैट्स काइंड ऑफ कलर पैलेट वी यूजुअली हैव. And the particular piece that you have seen in the previous slide has been made out of this mold. So again ये mold में काफी हमारे engineering गया हुआ है. I feel sometimes कि मतलब the knowledge what I had that I gained from when I was doing my industrial designing, जो injection molding के जैसे core और cavity वाले molds वगैरह बनते हैं, that knowledge I'm applying for for production of these bamboo pieces. See all of our bamboo strips or bamboo के elements मतलब ऐसे प्लेस करते हैं, मतलब का भी डिफरेंस नहीं होता है. You can see there's a printed layout, there's a printed jig in this, on the top of which an artisan is working. तो artisans के लिए भी ये काफी आसान हो जाता है किसी product को बनाने के लिए. और we have, the production speed has been increased by at least 400%, जो पहले products ऐसे हाथ से बनाते थे artisans. Yeah, these are the molds that we use to bend bamboo. And yes, marketing plays an important role. मतलब I guess marketing तो सबसे ज़्यादा important role play करता है products को मतलब globally पहुंचाने के लिए, other than the design of the product. So we usually do passive marketing. So when we started in 2019, the first year itself, we won few awards, as you can see in this slide. We also got invited to Frankfurt to display in Ambiente, where they invited like 40 designers from all over the world, and we were amongst one of them. A lot of publishings has been done in these magazines, और इसके लिए हम बिल्कुल भी पे नहीं करते हैं किसी को. मतलब हम लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्राई करते हैं अपने मार्केटिंग का जो फंड है वो यूटिलाइज करने को अपने रिसर्च में. तो मार्केटिंग में हमारा फंड्स बहुत ही कम यूज होता है. Yeah, so these are a few exhibitions that these are one of the exhibition where we displayed our products. So this was in Frankfurt, Germany. And yes, we are active into social media. मतलब social media में रहना बहुत ही ज़्यादा important है for to be in this market. और हमारा मतलब हमेशा हम इसमें काफी एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं अपने सोशल मीडिया में कि क्या चल रहा है हमारे फैक्ट्री में, अभी हम किस चीज पे एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं. सो if you want to keep an update, you can follow our page. So it's Myanzi Global. And yes, logistics also plays a very significant role. Because we want to make our products available globally, तो हम flat pack पे बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान देते हैं हमारे products को. तो this particular piece of lamp that you are seeing can be flat packed into really very small package. So and the height of the package is just like 50 mm or 600 by 600 by 50 mm or something. It can be packed in a really very small box, and the butterfly chair that you have seen can be dismantled in pieces. And there's an assembly manual that goes with the package, and yeah, you receive the packet like in this manner, and people usually assemble it in like 10 to 15 minutes. They hardly take. The same concept goes with other furniture as well. There's the mocha chair, and this is how it gets flat packed. Again, this is the rat stool. There's one is a smaller version and one is the larger version of it. And yeah, this is how it can be flat packed. So all of our designs. So for example, this floor lamp also can be flat packed. So this is made out of two parts. So upper wala part is the lampshade and the bottom one is the stand. So it goes in two boxes, two slim boxes. Or for again, it can be assembled by the user in a matter of minutes. So the same concept goes with all this lamp. So this is again the lotus lamp. And one more thing, we use a lot of modularity for all of our products. For example, if we are making a design which uses this lotus shade, okay, so pendant lamp में भी lotus shade लगेगा, then we come up with floor lamps as well, which can use this lotus shade और उस lotus look मतलब manufacturing में हमारा ज़्यादा spend नहीं हो रहा है, what I mean to say. So that's the reason why modularity helps. ठीक है, तो ये सेम लोटस शेड का आपको पेंडेंट लैम्प में मिल जाएगा, देन फ्लोर लैम्प में मिल जाएगा, टेबल लैम्प में मिल जाएगा. Yeah, there's the opium. These are the mirrors that we are currently producing. Baskets. And there's the current team what we are having. We have a team of 30 people working in Satna, Madhya Pradesh. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shashank. I guess your video is not on. Yeah, now I can see you. Yes. So it was a wonderful presentation. I think your products are like starting from the smallest product to the biggest structure you're doing. So how do you handle it? Like, I know you have hold a 2-degree architect and also a product designer, industrial designer. So when you work in Mianzi, is it easy to work with the smallest product, or I really wonder, how do you balance both the things, smallest product to the structure?
See, Radhika, I'm the only designer here in Mianzi, so I handle every bits of the design part and the technicalities of it. So we started actually with building furnitures initially, and eventually we came to know that people, most of our revenue, most of the chunk of the revenue comes from lighting. 70% of our revenue comes up with lighting. Okay, so, and since we started when the COVID was there in 2009, मतलब वो starting था almost at 19 COVID के time का. So and the online market was the only go-to thing जहाँ पे हम लोग अपने products बेच सकते थे. So people do not trust जब वो फर्नीचर खरीदने जाते हैं, they have to have some kind of physical feeling और वो physically वो देखना चाहते हैं. तो फर्नीचर में शायद इस रीजन से we were not exploring or scaling up in that way. पर तो छोटे प्रोडक्ट जैसे कि आपने बोला, तो छोटे प्रोडक्ट्स लाइटिंग में हमने काफी फोकस किया एंड लाइटिंग वेयर सेलिंग अ लॉट ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम. तो अब कोविड खुलने के बाद धीरे धीरे हम लोग फर्नीचर पे भी आ रहे हैं. हाँ, तो मतलब it's not like about the scale. Always we start like from a smaller thing और वो धीरे धीरे वो अपने आप बड़ा होते जाता है. And we are doing also छोटे मोटे आर्किटेक्चरल प्रोजेक्ट्स अभी कर रहे हैं हम लोग. मतलब that's just the starting. The images that you were seeing in the presentation, that's the first project that we currently commissioned recently. मतलब ये 4-5 महीने पहले ही हमने स्टार्ट किया था ये सारे. So we started with small, then it's happening. It's eventually getting.
So after seeing your presentation, one thing it came to my mind. People say, no, don't stop until your dreams come true. So I could see, like, when you are doing your college life, you had the passion to bring some product related to cycle into a mass manufacturing. And finally, when you started Mianzi and you made it sure that it is workable, and then that too advanced way, like electric bicycle you found. So that's really amazing, and I congratulate for all the awards which you won. And I think a long way to go. You have a lot of potential, and the kind of work you're doing, the concern you are having with the artisans, that's really mind-blowing. And I feel like every like product designer, when they put their heart and soul saying that, it is not that whatever material is available, you can do that products. But as a person, when you take that responsibility, okay, let me just change something, like which is benefiting the environment. So your approach towards that, so initially you started reducing the material, like by replacing bamboo. Then you wanted to know like more about bamboo, and then you started exploring, yes, this is the futuristic product, and you explored it. So That's something really, I think most of them should learn from you. And it's really nice to know that you are here to explain those things. But this actually provokes me to start a debatable topic here, where we can say, like, in those days, we used to call bamboo as a poor man's steel, right? And now we call that as a green gold. Okay, so there are some discussions happening that as soon as we give touch to the bamboo, add more value and style and aesthetics, it becomes more expensive. So what is your opinion about that? Is it you are taking concern about that, making it economical, or you want to give that, elevating the money aspects also?
Yeah, see, Radhika, so my way of strategizing it is quite different to it. कैसे मैं बता रहा हूँ? Let's say if I'll make a really very good design, और मैं मतलब बहुत सस्ते में मैं market में रख दूँ, people, I don't think people will look at कि मतलब look it as a in a respectable way currently. ठीक है, क्योंकि बैम्बू का ऑलरेडी इतना इमेज खराब हो चुका है इस मतलब बेसिकली आई गेस जब ब्रिटिशर्स जब आए थे यहाँ पे तब टिम्बर काफी एक्सपोर्ट होना शुरू हो गया था। उससे पहले शायद बैम्बू के काफी सारे फर्नीचर्स इंडिया में बनते थे, तो वहां से शायद इसका इमेज खराब होना बहुत ज्यादा शुरू हुआ है। तो my way of changing the image of this material is let's make products out of bamboo जो कि जो एक एस्पिरेशन बनाए लोगों के लिए। सो मेक इट लाइक एन एस्पिरेशनल प्रोडक्ट करंटली, मतलब अभी का जो स्ट्रैटेजी होना चाहिए, ठीक है। फिर धीरे धीरे लोग देखेंगे कि ओके हायर क्लास इज यूजिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ ये ऐसे प्रोडक्ट चल रहा है, ऐसा ट्रेंड चल रहा है, तो ये तो मिडिल क्लास वाले लोग इनसे इंस्पायर होंगे, मिडिल क्लास या लोअर मिडिल क्लास वाले लोग ये चीज से इंस्पायर होंगे। देन और तब तक क्या होगा, हमारा बैम्बू का प्रोडक्शन में जो टेक्नोलॉजी यूज हो रहा है तब तक इम्प्रूव भी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि अभी मैं जो टेक्नोलॉजी यूज कर रहा हूँ वो एक्सपेंसिव है, बिकॉज आई एम पुटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी इनटू माय रिसर्च, ठीक है, कि मेकिंग डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ मोल्ड फेल हो जाते हैं, फिर अलग एक डिजाइन बनाना पड़ता है, मशीन्स बना रहा हूँ मैं कुछ कि मशीन में इम्प्रूवमेंट क्या होना चाहिए, बिकॉज वुड का मशीन और बैम्बू का मशीन बहुत डिफरेंट होता है, वो सेम मशीन से एक जगह पे नहीं काम करते। तो सो मतलब आई थिंक दैट्स द वे हाउ वी कैन लुक into this कि शुरू में थोड़ा सा एस्पिरेशनल वैल्यू क्रिएट करें, फिर उसके बाद मास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में जाएं। I do look into these products as an afford which you'll get from the market in an affordable rate, पर अभी के लिए हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, पर आगे के लिए हम जरूर ये करेंगे, कम प्राइसेस में ट्राई करेंगे सेल करने का।
Sahi bola, sir. Actually, it's very interesting to know that. Even when I was
actually, sorry, Radhika, go on.
No, ma'am, you continue.
Go on, Radhika.
Yeah, I was just explaining that when I was doing the research, also the same thing. I was wondering that why is that social stigma is attached to the bamboo? Because as an individual, when we come to know about bamboo, we just fall in love with that material and we want to do something with that. But there's something which is pulling back that material to grow further. So I think sir Mr. Shashank has understood that, and then he has applied his own formula for it. And that's really great to know that. Yes, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm really actually, I think this was another stroke of good luck that I could get Shashank for the webinar, and I'm really so happy that Shashank, you have shared your work, and it's really very inspiring. And I'm hoping, because this is also on the Council of Architecture Training and Research Cell, it will also go on that website and on their portal. I'm hoping that lot more architects and designers and interiors people also will get inspired with your work. And I think that Radhika, what the question she was asking, a person who is also working with buildings with bamboo. So I try to do not raise the what is that your cost of build, because I don't do products, I do buildings. But in that, when the moment you first, they want you to lower your cost, and then once you have done it, they start pointing out mistakes and finish problems and 101 things that this is not like that, this is not like this, and is not really working. So they want most of the time, I'm really sorry to be very blunt about it, but there are this thing that bamboo, if it is bamboo, it should be absolutely cheap, but in cost, but it should be what do you say, expected to perform like other materials, where they can invest a lot of money and they can pay a lot of money. So this is what is expected out of bamboo because they take it absolutely, oh, सड़क के किनारे मिलता है बैम्बू, ये फैक्ट्री में थोड़ी प्रोड्यूस होता है, तो इसको तो कुछ पैसा ही नहीं लगता होगा कुछ करने के लिए. And that's the kind of attitude which people have. Again, coming to processing, yeah, there has to be a balance, as Radhika was telling that, and as Shashank, you were telling that it should, the middle class people will start following. But yeah, the initial cost of any product for that matter, when it just starts, it will be high, and once the demand becomes more, and then lot more people, and then lot more jigs, and those things are manufactured and they're easily available at a lesser rate, and designers and people can use it, then prices will slowly start falling down. So that is something which we have to tide over as designers and as architects and people. And people also have to give their support that they really want this kind of a work. At the same time, it should not go completely to the standards where it makes it absolutely unaffordable for other people. That is also something, is a word of caution, because the world over, everyone is talking about Bali buildings of bamboo. I mean, in our case, and I have been there, I've seen the products. They are excellent products, beautiful products, completely out of reach of the common man by not just small margin, the largest margin that you could ever think of. And that probably will not be doing service to bamboo, either bamboo or to people who should be using articles with bamboo, I mean the common man. So there has to be a kind of a balance which needs to be made, where we are able to use the material, natural materials. At the same time, it is also available for the common man to use. And as Shashank rightly said, the middle class, because at least that they should be able to use. I think that's a very important point. Do you use any particular species of bamboo, Shashank? Because that is something which I'm always curious, and actually I'm very much interested in lighting fixtures design. Have not been able to get down to it to start something. I'm just hoping that in near future I will be able to do that. So, do you use some particular species, and how many years old that particular bamboo is for your pieces that you have made? And do you think there is something? You can unmute yourself, no?
Yes. Now I can. Yes. Yeah. So if I'll talk about the species, Neelam ma'am, we usually use Dendrocalamus arundinacea for making all of these products. मतलब हम लोग like about 5 different species से ज़्यादातर काम करते हैं. Mostly Dendrocalamus arundinacea. That's a cutting bark that's available in Central India mostly. एंड कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स जो वीविंग के लिए यूज होता है वो हम लोग नॉर्थ ईस्ट वाले बैम्बू सोर्स करते हैं. ठीक है. जो स्लाइवर्स हैं वो मध्य प्रदेश में अच्छे स्लाइवर्स मतलब मिलते नहीं है वो क्वालिटी के स्लाइवर्स, तो वीविंग के लिए हम नॉर्थ ईस्ट के वो यूज करते हैं. एंड फॉर यू नो
You're on mute again.
Yes.
Okay, and now
and हाँ, and for making furnitures out of solid bamboo, strictures is easily available in Madhya Pradesh. So it depends upon the type of products that we are producing. तो अलग अलग products के लिए अलग अलग species use करते हैं. And also, Neelam ma'am, about the previous conversation that we are talking, what I am trying to do is, trying to bring up designers and engineers into this, मतलब into the craft sector. अब तक ऐसा कुछ किया नहीं गया था, मतलब और even if I'm talking about bamboo, तो bamboo में इतना technology भी evolve हुआ नहीं है इतने टाइम से, और क्योंकि evolve नहीं हुआ है तो उस तरह के products हम लोग को देखने को मिल नहीं रहा है. तो yeah, that's what we are intending to do, कि engineering जितना ज्यादा हो सके हम लोग इसमें involve करें, artisans और engineers साथ में काम करें, designers साथ में काम करें. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Okay, I think we have some questions.
Janaki,
some
I
people
guess
have raised hands.
Janaki would like to address. You can unmute and speak to the speaker.
Yeah. Hello, sir. The work you're doing is really amazing. And I just want to know, like, your projects in the architectural sector are somewhere in the Northeast, right?
No. Architectural sector, yes, that's true.
So how can you introduce that to, see, in the Northeast, I think the bamboo is easily available. But
Yes.
maybe, how can you introduce bamboo as a material in the construction sector where bamboo is not a local material? And do you think that will be sustainable? I mean, like the cost wise also, and see the sustainability wise, of course it is, but the cost wise, I mean.
That's a very valid question, Janki. So, मतलब, for example, initially जब हम लोग इस project को execute कर रहे थे, we were thinking of to make पहले से ही elements को हम लोग यहाँ पे factory में बना के, then we can transport it to the site. मतलब prefab construction हम लोग करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे शुरू में, पर क्योंकि वहाँ पे फिर बहुत ढूंढने पर आसपास ही बहुत सारे हम लोग को ऐसे वेंडर्स मिल गए जो बैम्बू को ट्रीट वगैरह कर सकते थे, तो हमने वहीं पे किया. तो यस, इट्स पॉसिबल कि बैम्बू स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑल इंडिया में बन सकते हैं, but we have to look upon the way that we are going to design that structure. So yes, we are working on a lot of structural designs जो flat pack हो जाए और मतलब easily transport होके वहाँ पे मतलब assemble कर सकें हम लोग जाके structures को.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that serves my question.
Okay, actually, when we are talking about using bamboo in the area where it is not available, I would rather have a word of caution that, don't try to get it from a very far off places for construction, because then it doesn't remain sustainable at all.
True.
Because sustainability starts with the concept of using local materials. So try to be as local as possible. It would be, I think, better thing to do.
Yeah.
To keep it like that.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pooja, you want some? You wanted to ask us contact details. She wants the contact details. Yeah, I think Radhika, we can share those contact details.
Yeah, I have shared the website and Instagram page also.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share with viewers?
Yeah.
Sorry, Radhika, I didn't get.
Anything which you want to share to the viewers? Any inspiring story which your product changed, anyone's life?
Yeah, recently we were talking to our artisan. मतलब मैं खुद से बात नहीं कर रहा था. Few of our interns that they are working currently in the factory, they were talking together and they said कि वो पहले कैसे काम करते थे, मतलब उनके पास orders नहीं थे, और मतलब the kind of designs that they initially had, मतलब काफी ओवर यूज डिजाइन हो चुका था और मतलब लोग उतना पैसे भी नहीं देते थे. तो they were sharing they were sharing the change that जो उनके लाइफ में अभी देखने को मिला है. तो नाउ दे हैव अ कंसिस्टेंट सैलरी जो हर मंथ उनके पास आ जाता है, और मतलब दे फील लाइक सिक्योर्ड पहले के कंपैरिजन में. तो आई गेस दे आर रियली हैप्पी, एंड मुझे काफी इन चीजों से काफी खुशी होती है. And also the products that people are using in India and worldwide as well. मतलब जब अपने products इतने दुनिया में देखने को मिलते हैं तो it gives you a good feeling. और वो भी, और ऊपर से उस मटेरियल में जो मटेरियल काफी मतलब जिसका वैल्यू काफी लो था recent times में.
Yeah.
Do you work out of Madhya Pradesh? Huh?
Yes.
You work out of Madhya Pradesh?
Yes.
Which place are you in?
In Satna.
Oh, in Satna itself. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, actually, I have worked with a lot of bamboo artisans in Madhya Pradesh, and we had from 2014 we had held training program here.
Yeah.
And we had around 37 people from all over Madhya Pradesh with a Madhya Pradesh Bamboo Mission. We had done a training for 2.5 months at my place in CGBMT in Bangalore. And one of them, one Raju Banjara, I don't know whether if you know the name, I think he's from Balaghat. He has now 80 artisans working with him. And they have made, together they have formed a kind of a group. And they are getting so many orders that I have been calling them for last 1 year कि भैया 2 artisan तो यहाँ आ जाओ मुझे चाहिए, and they are so much they have so much order that they think they are not able to come. So we also working in Harda district in Rajabarari, Timbarni and Rajabarari, and we have been training people there. There is a part of the Radhaswami Satsang Sabha project in Rajabarari, which is a 8,000 acres estate, and they are tribal area, and they have been there since over 100 years, trying to better the life of tribals out there.
Wow.
And we have been doing a lot of programs through Dalbagh University out there in training, and also set up a bamboo center now in Timarni in one of their ITI schools. So and also that was the place Artichol. That is
I know that place.
I think that is,
yes. So Neelam,
so we have done some please.
So I was saying that हमारा जो setup है मतलब I think कि better अगर होता कि हम decentralize करें चीजों को. So currently we have people like 30 numbers which are working in our factory. Then around 70 से 80 लोग indirectly हमारे साथ काम कर रहे हैं, which in small clusters in northeast. ठीक है, तो मतलब जनरली हम क्या करते हैं कि ऐसे क्लस्टर्स को फाइंड करते हैं जिसमें वो बहुत ही ज्यादा स्पेशलाइज्ड हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज वन क्लस्टर इन त्रिपुरा जो बहुत ही ज्यादा स्ट्रिप निकालते हैं, तो स्ट्रिप्स हम वहीं से सोर्स करते हैं. तो वो हमने पूरा वो क्लस्टर को ऑन कर लिया और हमारा रेगुलर ऑर्डर्स उनके पास रहता है, तो वो स्ट्रिप्स हम वहां से सोर्स करके हम यहाँ पे असेंबल करते हैं. तो दैट्स हाउ आई मीन वी आर अप्रोचिंग टू दिस प्रॉब्लम. तो इंडिया के अलग अलग पार्ट से हम लेकर आते हैं और यहाँ पे सतना में असेंबली करते हैं सबका.
Great. मध्य प्रदेश में भी काफी काम हो रहा है actually, and I think it's really great. And I think when people like you are there, I'm sure it will really grow. So
we are working
Radhika,
closely with
directly on
Bamboo Mission as well.
Mission, huh?
Yes.
The mission?
Yes.
State Bamboo Mission. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
One last question to you. Like I believe there will be some audience who wanted to start up. So if they wanted to, establish a manufacturing plant, like how, what should be the space requirement or how big the size should be to do these household products? If you can share your insights on it?
Radhika, it totally depends upon the kind of product that you're producing. Initially, जो आपने शुरू में prototypes देखा था, when I was working as an industrial designer in few industrial designing companies, मैं खुद अकेले काम करता था. I turned my flat into a workshop, और वहाँ पे पूरा ऐसे बेंडिंग का सेटअप था, which runs from kitchen to and acquiring whole the living space area. इतने बड़े से, तो मैं अकेले काम करता था और मेरा भाई और मेरे फ्रेंड्स कुछ मुझे हेल्प करने आते थे एक जगह. तो मतलब आप इतना छोटा से भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हो और धीरे धीरे वो अपने आप बढ़ते चल जाएगा. तो आई स्टार्टेड विद दैट, देन आई गॉट हेल्प from 3 artisans from Satna, और वो 3 से 6 हो गए, 6 से 10 हो गए, और वो धीरे धीरे काफी एक्सपैंड होता गया. तो स्टार्ट विथ वेरी सिंपल एंड वेरी बेसिक. वो अपने आप यू विल नेवर नो कि वो कब बढ़ जाएगा. ठीक है. तो दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से. एंड हैव पेशेंस. टाइम लगता है चीजों को ग्रो होने में. पेशेंस बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट. पेशेंस एंड perseverance. Yes.
Well said, well said. And it's amazing to have you here. And I believe
thanks.
All the audience will be taking some inspiration, and then, so that they can actually have their idea in their mind, but that will actually push them to get into reality. That because we need more community to start working towards bamboo sector. And then now we are all alone, but when we combined, together and then share our experience to each other, nothing is difficult. So, and the approach towards artisans and making your products globally reaching. So that's also again one interesting point which you shared. So all the very best. And I believe it's all like, I want to congratulate for all the work you have done, and it should grow in a bigger way, and all your products should reach in a global way. Thank you so much to have you here, and we are very grateful for your time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experience. You were very true and honest with whatever work you were explaining to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Shashank ji.
Thank you.
So now we have come to the end of the session. Of course, we have taken 8 more minutes, but it's time to thank each one of you. And I'm sure that every participant is more important for making any event successful. And I thank our great guest speakers today, Ms. Karissa and Mr. Shashank Gautam, to have them here to present their work, and they took some time for us, and all the dignitaries who is part of this presentation, and then who've been working in the back end and who made this event very grand success. And I believe we have a lot many audience from different backgrounds, students, professors, professionals, farmers, artisans, many others. So thank you to each one of you. Ma'am, anything which you want to add?
Can I? Yeah, sorry. If you're finished, then I have some small announcements to make. So I just
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you for really comparing the whole, anchoring the program very well. And of course, again, I once again thank the speakers. Both Karissa, she's not there now. I think I'm sure she's directly opposite side of the world right now. So I think it's almost maybe 1 o'clock or something at her place, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the night. And thank you, Shashank, for sharing your journey so well. And I wish you all the very best in future. And we will try and see if you are willing to work together sometime. And yeah, thanks, Karissa. You have sent, okay, and good night. Thank you so much. And so our next webinar will be on architecture. So we will have some architects and the architecture topics to be, and that will be the next month, third week, Saturday, third Saturday of the month of July. We will have the next webinar, and anyone who also wants to share something and all that, they can always welcome to send it to us through mails and things like that. And Radhika, we are on BSI this thing, so it's Bamboo Society of India. We thank from from that from our organization. And we hope that we will see you again, and we will be in touch with you, and you'll send you all the keep tuned for our next announcements about our program. There'll be other webinars which will be happening from Bamboo Society of India, and we'll definitely talk about them also, because it actually used to happen every Saturday. 1 or 2 Saturdays, I think it has been missed, and we hope we will again be able to continuously get back to you on this. Thank you so much, and have a nice weekend ahead. Thank you.
That was wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. See you in the next webinar.